Okay, I'm Sharp, and today we'll be doing a tier list for factions in Morrowind. So I will only be ranking the optional factions that you can join when you play the game. I'm not gonna be ranking factions such as Blades or East Empire Company that are linked to Mine Quest. And I also will not be ranking the ones that are not joinable, but you can do some quests for them. So we are going to start with Tribunal Temple. So Tribunal is cult of Almalexia, Sotasil and Vivek, short Almcivi, which you might have met on your scrolls that teleport you back to the shrines. So it's very lore-rich faction, it's pretty fun from this standpoint. It has probably the most interesting joining quest in Pilgrimages of the Seven Graces that will send you on a road trip all across the world of Morrowind, where you will have to visit many shrines, which is pretty interesting from the lore perspective. It is linked to some of the artifacts in the game and the best armor in the game in Ebony Mail. So I think it is a solid B tier. Now for Morak Tong. So this is another unique faction in terms of joining them. To join them you have to find their specific NPC, the Grand Master of Morak Tong, in headquarters at Vivek. This is also the faction that is linked to Sanguine and Threads of Web Spinner items. So the main idea of this faction is that you're an assassin that has the writs to legally kill people in Morrowind. So idea is pretty cool, but the quests get very repetitive. So because of that I can only give them C tier. Now Imperial Cult. So similar to Tribunal, this is the faction that is linked to religion in Morrowind. So this is also the faction that is linked with many artifacts at higher rank. And another cool thing about it is you will get to meet a manifestation of Tiber Septim later into the game. But sadly the rest of the quests, the early quests, are pretty bland. Because of that I'm gonna put this faction in C tier. Now the Imperial Legion. So unique thing about Imperial Legion is that you will get pieces of armor as a quest reward, and you also have to wear their specific armor when you talk to NPCs of this faction, especially if you want to receive rewards for the quests. To join them you have to talk to one specific NPC in Nizis. Significant artifacts that are linked to this faction is Lord's Mail and Chrysamir. This is probably one of my least favorite factions. I just find their general quest to be pretty boring. And I'm going to put this in C tier. Now Fighters Guild. So to join Fighters Guild you can talk to one of many leaders in any of the town with Fighters Guild. This faction gives you access to supply chests together with mages. So it's a chest that you can pick up any items from, and these are going to be pretty useful items, especially for a warrior archetype such as hammers for fixing your equipment. This faction is in conflict with Thieves Guild. What that means is that it's possible to lock yourself out of joining or ascending in Thieves rank if you complete certain quests for Fighters Guild. And ending quests in Fighters Guild is an internal conflict, so you have to select a side and kill important NPCs depending on your decision. But the rest of the quest involves just killing stuff or fetching some items. So because this faction is one of these in the game that can cause you trouble with another faction, I will put this faction in D tier. Now Mages Guild. So similar to Fighters Guild, to join them you have to talk to one of the local leaders in any of the towns. You also get access to supply chest. What is important about this is that this supply chest will contain mana regeneration potions, which is very significant if you run Atronach Bird Sign. This guild is run by a Moron. is linked to very powerful artifacts such as Necromancer's Amulet, and depending on your choice you may have to kill Telvanni counselors later in the game, but this is not a required choice to make to ascend in the guild. Overall, this is a pretty nice, pretty useful faction, so I will put this in the B tier. So now for Thieves Guild. You can also join them by talking with one of the local leaders. In my opinion, Thieves Guild have probably most horribly scaled quest difficulty due to the way sneak mechanics work. So pretty early into the game you might find yourself doing the quest feeling pretty good, and then you get one quest and you have no real way of doing it because you either don't have your skills high enough or you have to use some combination of magic to do them anyway. You get some interesting NPCs in this faction, such as Gentleman Jim Stacy. They are also linked to Bal Molagmer. You get Skeleton Key as a reward in the later quests, but in my opinion this is a redundant item as you will be training your sneak anyway if you want to ascend in this faction. So getting a key that opens the door for you is not really an item that is very useful. You have to be careful with Fighters Guild doing quests for this faction so that you not break your progression. And because of this conflict, similar to Fighters Guild, it's going to D tier. So now we are going to talk about Great Houses. So Great Houses in Morrowind, they are mutually exclusive, so you can only join one of them. They allow you to build stronghold near the major cities, which is a personal house or base where you can have your own servants, which is a pretty cool mechanic. Great houses have some of the most massive quest lines, and they are generally made for specific archetype like a stealth, combat or magic character. Of course you can join any of them regardless of who you play, but the idea behind the faction and also the requirements are linked to these three archetypes. So Hlalu is going to be the first great house we are going to talk about. Is for the stealth characters. Stronghold that you build with this faction will be near Balmora. It has a few interesting NPCs such as Crassius Curio and Drambero. You get the highest gold rewards in this faction. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the Hlalu house, but if you want to have a stronghold near Balmora, you'll probably find yourself joining this faction. I'm going to put this in A tier. So now for Redoran. Redoran is for the combat archetype characters. The stronghold you build with this faction is going to be near Aldrun. It is pretty blunt in terms of NPCs, and it has also pretty boring lore and questline, I would say. It rewards you with ebony armor, probably like 2 sets. It has the longest questline of any of the faction. And just because the great houses are just cooler in general than the other guilds, I'm going to put this in A tier together with the Hlalu. So now we arrive at Telvanni. So Telvanni is for magic archetype characters and is definitely the most unique faction within Morrowind. It has the unique rules such as killing or stealing not necessarily leading to being expelled. You get to build your own mushroom tower, which is by far the coolest of the strongholds, near Sadrit Mora. You also get magic spells as quest rewards for the early quests, and some later quests too, as well as pretty powerful items. It is by far the most interesting faction in terms of NPCs, especially the counselors for this faction are some of the most unique characters in Morrowind. It also has the mouth mechanic, so you first receive the quest from the mouths, which are underlings of the counselors working for this faction, and later on as you progress you get to become mouth for one of the grandmasters, and even later when you become a counselor you get to recruit your own mouth that will work for you. So in my opinion Telvanni is by far the coolest, most interesting faction, and for this is going to receive S tier. So that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, and I hope you have a good one.